Hello everyone, I hope all of you are doing amazingly well. I'm also doing pretty good. This is CA Yash Jain from QuintEdge. At QuintEdge, we have helped thousands of candidates in past to clear their CFA Level 1 exam in one go. This video is summary of guidelines that we have. So in case you are looking for clear guidelines, how to clear CFA Level 1 exams in one go, you have landed on the correct video. These are the topics that we are going to discuss. Firstly, I will be talking about how much time is needed to prepare well for exams, then the resources that you should be using, then how to study, the particular order of study that you should be following, and few broader guidelines that I have other than these technical points. So let us get started. So firstly, let us talk about how much time is needed to study. Firstly, identify yourself. Are you going to a coaching class or are you studying by self? In both the cases, you need around 6 months of self-prep time. If you are studying by yourself, 6 months is required. And even if you are going to a coaching class, then also at least 6 months of study is required. But the number of hours you have to dedicate is more when you study by yourself, and number of hours is less when you study with the help of a coaching institute. If you are studying by self, you have to study 500 hours in 6 months. Out of these 6 months, first 4 months you should be done with your syllabus, and in last 2 months you should be revising the entire curriculum and solving couple of mock exams. If I break it to weekly level, you have to study around 18 to 20 hours per week on an average. Assuming you are a working professional, so weekdays you will be able to study 2 hours for 5 days of weekdays. So total 10 hours on weekdays per week, and on weekends you have to stretch a bit, 4 hours on weekends for 2 days of weekends. So roughly adds up to 8 hours. So this will be around 10 plus 8, 18 hours per week on an average. Now if you have taken help of a coaching institute, generally the class duration for CFA Level 1 exams is roughly around 250 hours for all the coaching institutes. There could be some deviation of 5-10% here and there, but roughly it is around 250 hours. So in the first 4 months, complete all your classes, no questions asked. After completing all your classes, you have approximately 150 hours of self-study. You have to do this in the last 2 months, okay? Along with the classes also you have to study a bit, but your majority of the focus should be on the completing classes. And then in the last 2 months, majority of the focus should shift from watching lectures to solving questions and revising. If I break this also to weekly level, on an average you have to study 14 hours per week, assuming you have taken help of coaching institute and you are a working professional. So per day 1.5 hours for 5 days of the week, that will add up to 7.5 hours of weekdays. And on weekends 3 hours, 2 days of weekends, so 6 hours. This roughly adds up to 14 hours. Now many candidates ask me the question, sir, I don't even have clarity, I should go for coaching institute or I should study by myself. So my answer is, since you have already taken help of coaching institute in all your previous exams, CFA is not going to be a different one. So if you are already developed the habit of learning via some instructor, go for coaching institute. If you have already studied by yourself in last 5-10 years for all the exams that you have appeared for, CFA is no different. It is a distance learning program. So could be done by self-study. Please make sure if you are going for self-study, since there won't be anyone to guide you, please keep on checking, are you able to follow this broader guidelines or not? Okay. And my suggestion will be, in case there is absolute lack of clarity, whether to go for coaching institute or go for self-study, buy the notes that I am going to suggest on next slide, study for a week or 2 and then decide, do you have caliber to study by yourself or would it be beneficial for you to take help of coaching institute? Whatever is the answer, after going through the syllabus for 1 week approximately, based upon that, take your call. Okay. Now, moving ahead, resources to be used. So firstly, if you have joined a coaching institute, use their notes. In case you are studying by yourself, you have to use Kaplan-Schweizer books. Okay, so Kaplan-Schweizer books are the summarized version of institute's material. So are we not going to use institute's material at all? No, it's not like that. We'll study the concept from coaching notes and Schweizer notes, but for solving questions, for each chapter, we'll be going to institute notes and we'll be solving questions given in the institute books. Okay, so for solving questions, we are going to use the official material. Okay, and once we are done with the entire chapter and group of chapters, that is called a study session, one particular subject basically, go to the candidate resources available on the institute's website and solve for the test of that subject. Okay, how many questions you need to solve? Approximately around 2500. If in case you can move towards 3000, that's even better, but 2500 questions approximately you need to solve. How many questions should be correct? To be on very safe side, out of every 4 questions, 3 questions should be answered very correctly. That is approximately 70-75% should be the ratio of correct question in comparison to wrongly attempted questions. Okay. Okay, now let us move ahead and let us discuss how to study, the sequence that you should be following. So firstly, whether you are taking help of a coaching instructor or preparing by yourself, complete the entire reading. Maybe watch video, attend the live class. If you are doing it by yourself, go through the entire reading, right? Complete the entire reading. After completing the reading, do not jump to the next reading. Go to the institute's official material, solve question there, and in case your coaching instructor have provided questions, solve his questions as well. So reading, questions, reading, questions. Do it repeatedly for all the readings in a particular subject and complete the subject. Now it's the time to test your entire knowledge about the subject. So go to candidates resources available at the institute's portal and solve questions available there, right? You're done with one subject. All the questions for individual reading and subject-wise questions. Done. Repeat this entire process for all 10 subjects. Now once you are done with this, you're done with the entire syllabus. But there are some things that are still to be done. Revisions, mock test. So you should be ideally done around 4.5 months into your preparations with all the subjects, right? Now go for your first revision and then go for a mock test. Revision, mock test. Again, go for second revision and then mock test. Now this is it. This is the maximum you can prepare. 2 mock tests, all the subject-wise questions, all the reading-wise questions, a big pat on your back to complete it, and 5 months approximately. Now what to do? Approximately you have around 25-30 days left. What to do? Firstly, do not panic. There must be some parts that you might have left while going through the entire syllabus. Complete that. In case you feel there is some weakness of concepts in a particular reading, complete that. Just be very robust with your preparation. And once you are done with this, do not panic. Maybe last 15-20 days of exams are pending. Just revise as much as you can, solve as many questions as possible. But you can't do anything better, right? You have solved everything that is given in the curriculum. You have also solved everything that is available online. This is the best that could have been done. So that is it. See, I was also guilty of panicking in last maybe 5-10 days before exams, because generally the tendency of people who prepare well always feel that there is something left. There is some element of uncertainty. I have not prepared this topic well, and what if 2 questions from this topic comes? It's perfectly fine, right? You have done your best. Now there is no need to panic. Now, what order of study you should be following? First and foremost, ethics is to be done in the end. Do not start with ethics, right? See, the volume in ethics as a subject is very less. And once you read whatever is given in the subject, you will feel that it's very natural. Do I even need to read all this? Like, it comes to me very naturally. What should be done ethically? But the questions in exams are designed in such a way, the options are given in such a way that you'll always have confusion whether it is option A, B or C. And in that confusion, you might end up ticking wrong answer. So the best way to learn ethics is to do it in the end, and after going through a small amount of data that is given in this subject, solve as many questions as possible. What we have to do is we have to start from here. Tools. First, you will start with quantitative methods. Here you will learn about normal distribution, time value of money, hypothesis testing, linear regression. Once you have all these tools, then you move to economics. Irrespective of your background, whether you have commerce background, arts background, science background, whatever is your past background, all of us are able to relate with economics because all of us have spent money, all of us have earned money. So it becomes really easy to link with this subject. Then financial statement analysis. This is very voluminous but easy. Do this, and then corporate issuers, working capital management, capital raising, cost of debt, cost of capital, whether to go for a project or not. All these are the tools. You learn about the tools and then you deploy the tools. You learn about various asset classes. You invest in equity, so you have to know how to analyze a particular share. How will you know that? By quantitative methods, by financial statement analysis by going through their 10K, 8K, 10Q reports, right? So equity, fixed income. Fixed income is generally considered to be on difficult side. So make sure you don't leave it for the end. Somewhere 2.5 months into your preparation, you should be done with fixed income. Now, alternate investments and derivatives are complicated, but volume is really less. Like hardly few subjects for alternate investment and hardly few chapters for derivatives. So complete this. By the end of 4.5 months, tentatively, you should be done with this. And then you create portfolio from investing in all these asset classes, and then you learn about portfolio management. It will take another 15 to 20 days to cover portfolio management in detail with all questions, maybe 1 or 2 revisions, going to candidate resources and solving questions, everything. And then in the end, in last maybe 20 days before exams, you start with ethics. Parallelly, you can go with your revisions, right? So tools, asset class, portfolio management, and then ethics. I hope you are clear with this. Now let us move ahead. Some general guidelines that I have for you. Firstly, start practicing using calculator from the very first day, because ultimately you have to use it in exam. So why not to practice it? Number 2, don't skip solving questions. Questions and concept goes hand in hand. 50% of the work is done if you know concepts, and 50% of the work is done when you practice question. So you cannot skip solving questions. Many candidates have this very bad habit of going through the readings and jumping to next reading without solving questions. You can't do it. Then whatever broad schedule that you have, always keep buffer of 15 days, because something can go wrong and will definitely go wrong. Last minute emergencies, maybe you will fall sick, maybe some family function that is not seen will come in the last moment and you have to attend it, some unavoidable responsibilities, some pressure from work end. So please have 15 days buffer. Then this is very important. This is where at QuintEdge I pay special attention. Whatever you are learning in books, you have to learn to apply in real life. So books to real life journey. If you're studying by yourself, you have to do it. If you're taking help of coaching institute, make sure your coaching instructor is qualified enough so that he can tell you the concepts beyond book and how do you apply the concepts that are given in book in real life. Then please do not panic few days before exams. We have already discussed this. And on the day of exams, please make sure you come with at least 7-8 hours of sleep. You are very fresh on the day of exams. Whatever best could have been done is already done. Now you have to simply sit in the exams for 4.5 hours. Generally, we are equipped or we are habitual of giving 3 hours exam. CFA exams are 4.5 hours. So what I generally have seen is in the last 30-40 minutes, the candidates lose their concentration and they end up scoring lesser marks in exam. So if you have slept well, 7-8 hours, that's a good amount of sleep quota that is required. So in the last 40-50 minutes, you'll be able to maintain your concentration. Okay. So these are the tips and tricks that I had for you, technical as well as non-technical, for you to ace in your CFA Level 1 exams. So in case you have any questions related to preparation strategy, feel free to reach us in the comment section below. Until next time, bye-bye.